Hello and welcome back. I'm Laura Greco and founder of the Resilient Mama Movement Academy. And I'm excited to talk with you today because how we see things, as I mentioned in a previous video about viewpoint, how we see things can really matter in our parenting. So I would like to hone in on this because it's really important for you to understand what's coming next for me. So how we believe in a situation, the kind of faith that we have in something is and becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy very often. So I wanted to give some examples of actually believing in someone or something versus not having faith, because it's often true that whatever we believe and put faith in comes about. The evidence is around us of anything we believe, and that's just a fundamental fact. But you might experiment this week with figuring out like what you believe and how that has been happening for you, and then explore what an opposite thing is just for fun, to get curious around whether or not this is a true phenomenon. And it is, because there's been studies done and exploration in that department. And if you ever want to know resources, I'm happy to share that. So what I want to do, though, is give you some evidence in my own experience as a parent. So one experience that I can think of is when my child was going to kindergarten, and as it turns out, she ended up having an IEP. So she was a classified student who had certain challenges in learning, as they put it. To me, I chose a viewpoint that was different from the classification. I chose to just believe she learns differently, right? And so all through her growing up and in school, my belief was, well, she learns differently. She's just, school takes on many different kinds of learning styles and tries to put them into one, and that doesn't often serve all the children. So the thing is that my belief in that, I believe, I believe this, that it helped her to have a grounded view of the needs that she had in order to learn. So when she was maybe taken out of class for certain things to help her to hone in, or when she was given different space for tests and so forth, it was all an assistance to be sure she got the information, because it wasn't about whether or not she was smart. She was actually very smart. But the point is that she got the help she needed, and she learned to adapt. So I believed in her. The school believed in her. She learned to adapt by creating language and curiosity and asking questions. And she always prefaced actually everything that she asked. She developed this habit of saying, I have a question. And that was beautiful, because then it drew our attention to what she was looking at, and it didn't create drama in the fact that she had a question about something. So that's number one. And what I want to tell you further about that is, as she got older, she ended up going back to school, and without an IEP, ended up on the dean's list and graduated with her BS on a dean's list. So that shows that a belief in another can make a huge difference. So what about you? How do you believe in your children? How do you believe in yourself? All these things, when shifted with perspective, can make a huge difference when there's challenges. So this is not about judgment, and this is not about whether you're doing something right or not. What I'm trying to say here is that we can be curious about how we're viewing things, especially if we're seeing a trend of challenges that we wonder about. Can we be curious? Can we see a new way? Another second thing I would like to share with you, an example, is when one of my daughters was experiencing anorexia. Now, the common social belief is that anorexia cannot be cured, okay? I don't even know if it's about curing, right? But I didn't believe that. I was told that anorexia is the hardest eating disorder to overcome. And when I asked the question, why? The practitioner said, oh, well, it's because they have so much discipline and ability to, hold back from eating, whereas other disorders, do it differently. And I said to the practitioner, I said, that's actually awesome, because if she has the strength to go in that direction, she equally has the strength to go in a new direction. You see, so this is another component. I had the capacity to create a new belief based on the information. So there was one side that said one thing, but I chose another. And I will tell you that she did succeed in overcoming it. She's never turned back. And the beautiful thing is that it wasn't so much about the eating. Eating had nothing really to do with it. It really had to do with mindset and belief in herself. And so by shoring up certain things through a practitioner, again, but an alternative method, not a hospital method, we were able to assist her to overcome through that, and through deep love, not just love of, not just love in, oh, I love my child, but love in the fact that it was the raising of the bar to believe in her until she could believe in herself, and giving her and offering her the tools and the language to help her. So yes, she was in this place, and often we slip into places where we become unable to believe in ourselves, or unable to believe in one of our children. That happens sometimes, and we can feel guilty and or resentful, or go through all those emotions. But you know what? They don't define you, and they don't define your child. You get to rise above that through learning, creating understanding, and going further than that. And that's why I am so excited to not only bring this information to you as a way of creating perspective, but also because I have tools that I can share with you and help you to have deeper knowledge of each one of your children, as well as yourself, in ways that can really help you to have a shift in your viewpoint, and aid you and really free you from feeling like you have to control things because behaviors are going crazy. I can't wait to share this information with you. And actually on Friday, I'm doing a interview with someone who has been exposed to the tool, and she is going to give her experience and how it has assisted her in her parenting. So be sure to tune in again. Watch for my notifications wherever you're listening to this from. And I hope this has proven to be useful. I'd like to leave you with a tip. What can you get curious about today? Whether it's something as simple as your belief about sugar, or your belief about good eating, maybe particular food. And then I invite you to go investigate and see how much information you can find for a subject as well as against the subject. And you'll begin to see what I'm talking about. So, or petroleum, right? Petroleum jelly. That's another controversial, it goes back and forth depending on where you're coming from and what the lens or viewpoint you have is, or, so many things. There's just so much out there. So my invitation is to create curiosity and begin to discover something that might help to broaden your ability to see life differently. And that is not only great for you, but what a beautiful thing to help your child to become more curious and more playful and more intrigued with what's this planet, this journey we're on as humans. Okay, I love you, and I know that you're doing an awesome, great job. And my only intention is to up level and speed up your ability to connect with your children in a deeper and more meaningful way that allows you to feel more comfort, more confident, in your leadership, your mentorship, your coaching abilities with your children, so that this planet and the collective consciousness can be up leveled and we can see life in a whole new way. Bye bye for now.